Virtual board meeting. When the meeting begins momentarily, the chair will take a roll call, explain any specific rules for this particular board, and then move to public comment. The name of the board member will appear on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. For instance, this is board member Y, and this is board member E. Public testimony will be accepted at the beginning of the meeting and before each agenda item. You can indicate that you are ready to testify by clicking on the Raise Hand button being circled by the mouse on your screen now. At the appropriate time, the board will recognize you to speak and ask you to unmute your mic as shown here. Again, public testimony will be accepted at the beginning of the meeting and before each agenda item. Public attendees will not be able to unmute their microphone until recognized by the board. Public attendees who are recognized to testify will be asked to identify themselves by name and their affiliated organization if applicable. Please mute your microphone when you are finished speaking as a courtesy to others and members of the board. Public attendees will not be able to unmute themselves after the testimony is completed unless recognized again after raising their hand. At some point during the meeting, the board may choose to move into executive session. When the board moves into executive session, the board members' microphones and video feeds will be turned off, and a similar screen as you see now will be displayed. When the board returns from executive session, their microphones will be turned on as well as their video cameras. Welcome again to the Professional and Vocational Licensing Virtual Board Meeting. At this time, the chair will call the meeting to order and take a roll call, as well as explain any additional rules that may be specific to this board.
Thank you. So to view the meeting and provide live oral testimony, please use the link at the top of the agenda. You'll be asked to enter your name, and the board requests that you enter your full name. You may also use a pseudonym or other identifier if you wish to remain anonymous. You will also be asked for an email address, and you can fill this field with any entry in the email format, for example, name@gmail.com. The microphone will be automatically muted. When the chairperson asks for public testimony, you may click on the raise hand button found on your Zoom screen to indicate that you wish to testify about the agenda item. The chairperson will individually enable each testifier to unmute their microphone. When recognized by the chairperson, please unmute your microphone before speaking and mute your microphone after you finish speaking. For phone access, if you cannot get internet access, you may get into audio-only access by calling the Zoom phone number listed at the top of the agenda. Upon dialing the number, you will be prompted to enter the meeting ID, which is also listed at the top of the agenda. After entering the meeting ID, you'll be asked to either enter your panelist number or wait to be admitted into the meeting. We will not have a panelist number, so please wait until you are admitted into the meeting. When the chairperson asks for public testimony, you may indicate you want to testify by entering star and then 9 on your phone's keypad. After entering star and then 9, a voice prompt will let you know when the host of the meeting has been notified. When recognized by the chairperson, you may unmute yourself by pressing star and then the number 6 on your phone. A voice prompt will let you know that you are unmuted. Once you are finished speaking, please enter star and then 6 again to mute yourself. So both internet and phone access when testifying, you'll be asked to identify yourself and the organization if any that you represent. Each testifier will be limited to 5 minutes of testimony per agenda item. If the connection is lost for more than 30 minutes, the meeting will be continued on a specified date and time. So this information will be provided on the board's website. So I'll now take roll call. So members, when I call your name, please respond present or here. And if you are joining us remotely, please state if you are alone or if someone is with you. Dr. Lisa Wood, licensed member.
Present and alone.
Thank you. Dr. Kimberly Thompson Kerr, licensed member, is excused from this meeting. Dr. Gabriel BC, board licensed member. Present. Irene Mata, public member. Present. And then myself, Marcella Chop, chair. Okay. And then Dr. Tiffany Homo, licensed member, will be joining us shortly. So I'll call the meeting to order, and the time is 10:13 a.m. So the first agenda item is approval for public session minutes for September 17. Is there anyone that would like to provide public testimony on that particular agenda item 1B? Are there any corrections or amendments to the minutes from September 17? Hearing none, we have a motion to accept the minutes. And a second.
I move to accept the September 17, 2025 minutes.
Any opposed? So no opposition to accept the minutes. Agenda item number 2, new business. Is there anyone who would like to provide testimony on agenda number 2 on the 2025 ASPE annual meeting?
No public testimony.
Dr. Wood, would you
Yes.
provide us summary from the meeting that you attended?
Sure. Thank you very much. The meeting was held this year in Cincinnati, Ohio. And if none of you have been to that city, it is really a very enjoyable city to be in. We didn't have any trouble getting around. The association was very hospitable to us, and the meeting was very well attended. It's a 3-day conference typically. The first day was reserved for member board training, and then day 2 and day 3 were business meetings, typical review of resolutions, election of new officers, and things like that. So I'll just give you a brief summary of some of the activities that we had for each of those days. On the first day, it was just the board members that were in a room together, and they broke us up into groups so that we could kind of get to know some other people from different states. They reviewed a lot of the terminology, which seems fairly basic, but some of the questions they asked were things like, do you know how long your term limit is? And do all of you know how long your term is?
4 years.
4 years, she says.
So 4 years? 3 years? 3 years?
That's how we all were at the room. We didn't know a lot of these things. They asked us things like, what's the definition of a veterinarian? What's the definition of a technician? And the main point is that they had to be duly licensed. And of course, we are the group that does that. So it was a good review, and it impressed upon us the need to understand what it is that we're doing on the board, how long we serve, and what our responsibilities are. The second thing they went over, Marcella, they probably did this with you too, was the Practice Act model. And that is a very lengthy document that covers what should be legislated and shouldn't be legislated for veterinary medicine. The board actually puts together a ideal packet, and then state boards are encouraged to look at that packet and determine which pieces fit their particular situation. And that's something, at another time we might consider a workshop for our group to go over the practice model and see how it compares to ours. One of the things that they brought up is how different states are unique. And one of the most controversial things that we talked about was the mid-level practitioner. This position is very contentious. It was created by the Colorado legislature, and it mandated that the State Board of Veterinary Examiners create a position and the requirements and the oversight of that position. It was not done with the support of Colorado VMA or AVMA or the technician organizations. It was created by the voters of Colorado. And because it has been legislated, it is their responsibility now to take care of that. That if it were to happen in Hawaii and legislators told us this is going to be a new position and we have the responsibility of determining the requirements and the examination and the oversight of that, we would have to do that. The expense and the administrative work, I can't imagine how difficult it must be for Colorado, but they are having to go through that right now. So it really drove home the point that we need to be aware of what can potentially happen and how we need to be sure that our practice model protect veterinarians and technicians, and that might be another conversation that we have to talk about. The second day was, as I said, a typical business meeting where we looked at resolutions, who the nominees were for the new incoming officers. One of the resolutions that they talked about was whether or not the American Association of State Veterinary Boards should become a global entity. And the premise behind that is that foreign grads then would have sort of a uniform process for coming into the US. Right now, each different country has its own requirements and statutes that they have to follow in order to practice in the US. By creating a global entity, that process would be streamlined. There was a lot of discussion about that. This group, I would say, is contentious as a whole. Last year, my understanding is that at one point, all of the delegates walked out of the meeting over another controversy. So it was really interesting to hear from them. They really set some hard ground rules before we started discussion because I think they wanted to prevent any drama during the meeting. Priscilla, do you remember any of that from last year?
I don't know. Was it a breakout session?
It was during I think day 2 or day 3 in the general delegate meeting.
I don't remember. I mean, it was like a major walkout or anything. There was another meeting about that personnel one that when we were in San Diego. That was drama too. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, they're an interesting group.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons, and this is just my personal opinion, we got the treasurer's report in the meeting. How much money do you think that organization has? Just guess. I don't know if you can hear or see me, but I can't hear any of you.
Is it several million? Is it in the millions?
16.
16 million?
$16 million. And that's from all the fees that they charge. And so I guess where there's money, there's always controversy.
Oh, it's spent, yeah.
But it was quite interesting. Yeah. The other, besides the typical to be conducted, they also had some excellent presentations. One was on mental well-being for board members. Other boards do not have a RICO division or any legislative assistance. They are the ones that receive the complaints, the phone calls. They have to do the active investigation. And so many of them are under a great deal of stress. And again, it's a volunteer position for most of them. So they did provide some information on that. The other presentation was on crisis management, and this was given by a PR firm that gave some really good tips on how to prepare for media interviews and always returning to your message and not allowing the interviewer to kind of steer you in the direction that they want the interview to go. That was quite helpful. And the last one that they talked about was the use of AI in veterinary medicine. And that is something that is on everyone's mind as AI becomes more and more prevalent in our practices. It's like any other tool that we have, and they they compared it to off-label use of drugs. Ultimately, the veterinarian is responsible for how that tool is used. And you do need to be sure that you're double checking all of those sources to be sure that it is in fact accurate. And there is a white paper that was put out by AAVSB that you can access online. It kind of goes over some of those highlights too. Overall, it was a very informative meeting, and I definitely think that our group should attend it, and particularly our exec, because they do have separate meetings for the executive officers to just sort of go over some of the issues that are out there and really try to provide support for one another. I thought it was a great meeting. I'm really glad that I got to go. On top of that, we saw a baseball game at the end of it. They hosted to a game with the Cincinnati Reds and the Detroit Tigers. It was great.
Thank you, Dr. Wood.
Thank you.
Any questions? So moving on the next agenda item 2. I guess is there anyone that wants to provide testimony on that particular agenda item? So everyone should receive in the packet as far as the member to be added to the report. So do we have a motion to accept?
I make a motion to accept. Do I mention the name?
No.
The recommended name for the permanent for the advisory committee.
May I interject? You have to word this motion very carefully, so, Dr. Chuck, if you could read,
The advisory.
that little
Italic.
about, yeah.
So the motion that we wish to carry is for the advisory committee members. They serve as confidential consultants for legal investigations pursuant to HRS 26-9S.
So accept the recommendations and any interim recommendations that we may present. Yeah, that's your motion.
Okay, good. Okay,
Thank
I did that.
you. You did.
Can we get a second? Any opposed? No one's opposed, so motion carried for it to accept the recommendation. So agenda item number 3, adjudicatory matters. So the board currently does not have any adjudicatory matters to discuss. So moving to agenda item number 4, applications. Is there anyone who would like to provide testimony on agenda item number 4? So, did I get a motion to move to executive session to consider and evaluate personal information relating to the individuals applying for licensure in accordance to HRS section 92-581 and to consult with the board's attorney on questions and issues pertaining to the board's powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities in accordance with HRS section 92-581. So we move to the motion to.
I move that we go into executive session.
Thank you. Okay, so we can move into executive session. So.
Dr. Wood, hang on, you'll get a message to join, okay? Oh, Dr. Chuck. Can we vote? Go into executive session?
Can we go into executive session? All in favor?
Thank you. All right, thanks. So, Dr. Dr. Wood with us.
Thanks. Thanks. Could I get a motion? Oh. Oh, okay. We have a motion, to accept regarding the application enhancements and as well as the ratification. So, what's for the regarding the application?
So, I'll motion to, approve that pending that there is a resubmission of the corrected application and a letter, stating, why the initial application was sent in and why that it was.
That you now
I'll
understand.
let you know, understand. Yes. Yeah. So, yes.
Can I get a second? Any opposed, any opposition? No opposition, motion carried forward. Regarding the ratification of issued licenses. We have a motion to accept the list of issued licenses. So. Second? No. No one opposed? Okay. Motion move forward. Could I also get a motion to accept the list as far as the issued licenses and courtesy and relief permits as well? We have a motion to accept that list. We have a second? No, any opposed, no opposed. Motion move forward to accept this. Agenda item number 5, the executive officer report. Is there anyone who would like to provide a testimony on agenda item 5? So it's a good report for items number 8 and B.
August had a total of 5 of massive number of sellers, and also a total of 5 items. I think also a total of 5 free passes and 2 sales, 60%. There we go. Results of the state veterinary licensing and this next.
And then we have our 2026 typical community dates that were provided in. Okay.
Well, these are tentative because, we know things come up and we're not gonna have a forum. We can't make a meeting, let us know early so we can make sure we still have one and second one, and try to get that reset.
And Carrie, I think there's you folks need some links and stuff and you change the date, right?
Yeah,
Post it on the bottom.
right. So agendas have to go off 6 days before you. So if we know we're not gonna have a forum, we will post the agenda and try to get the meeting.
I was thinking a bit about reaching out to us to ensure. So. Agenda 7, adjourn. There's nothing else.
Yeah, next meeting, scheduled for February 18th.
So our next meeting, February 18th, Wednesday, again at 10 a.m. And in person right now, we have it for meeting with the conference phone, as well as Zoom option for virtual. So there's nothing else. Meeting is adjourned at 10:49 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
for
This is the fastest meeting we've ever had.
Oh, no, but she wasn't
Last week.
She wasn't here last meeting.
Last
Last meeting was faster.
No way! Oh gosh.
I think because we didn't do anything, right?
It was approving licenses, I
That's
think,
it,
or
yeah.
something, yeah.
Sorry, you missed that one.
Oh my gosh.